would be kind of low scoring. Teams can play some defense. The Rams certainly like to run the ball, which would chew up a lot of time. And the Rams coming in at 3-0, yeah, they were 3-0, but they'd beaten the Packers, they'd beaten the Lions, they'd beaten the Raiders. Finally, they were playing a team with a bona fide winning record, the 2-1 Giants. And boy, did the Rams answer the bell. John Robinson, the Rams, only undefeated NFC team, felt they had something to prove. And early in the first quarter, they're playing on an L.A. time, a late start in New York. Maury Buford's punt is blocked by Alvin Wright. Sean Miller recovers, leads to a Ram touchdown, 7-0 L.A. Second quarter, Ram pass rush pressures Phil Simms, who's been sacked often when he plays the Rams. Kevin Green nails him. Ball is loose. Green recovers the fumble. Second Ram touchdown. They lead it 14-3. And Georgia Frontiere says, my goodness, I don't even have to pray for this team. They're great. Phil Simms' pass deflected by Mark Ingram, who would later leave the game with a broken collarbone, intercepted by Jerry Gray. He goes out of bounds at the 22-yard line, and this culminates in another score. Greg Bell, the last 2 weeks, has had 100 yards. Make it 3 weeks. 112 yards. Bell, 2-yard touchdown. 21-3 L.A. The route is on. Rams still in the first half. Jim Everett to one of those #1 picks acquired in the Dickerson deal. Aaron Cox. He could go all the way. 69 yards for the touchdown. 28-10 L.A. Jim Everett, 5 touchdown passes today on only 236 yards. That's pretty economical. The Giants did show some life in the third quarter. Giants blitz. Pepper Johnson, number 52, pressures him. Or rather, the pressure was on. Pepper picks the ball off. He could go all the way and does. 34-yard touchdown. The defense getting back in at 28-17. Giants on the move in the third quarter. Simms to Mark Ingram. Makes the catch. But that's what AstroTurf does, ladies and gentlemen. It's hard. He doesn't get up. Eventually stopped. And Ingram broke a collarbone on the play. Get rid of that stuff, please. Giants score later to make it 35-24. There, Phil Simms' numbers, but he was playing catch-up all day. Everett to Henry Ellard. A pretty slant across the middle. It's foot race to the end zone. 41 yards. It's the backbreaker. And the Rams go on to waste the New York Giants. And Bill Parcells, who was wondering, it can't only be LT with the 30-day suspension. Can it? Final score, 45-31. Or, Tommy, can it?
That's good, but he's played like he's old as Methuselah.
This Sunday, Greg Bell will be looking for his 4th consecutive 100-yard game when the Rams take on the Cardinals. This could be difficult since last week the Cardinals held Washington to only 53 yards rushing.
Well, Greg Bell was just a footnote in the Eric Dickerson trade. But you know something? When opportunity rang, Bell answered. Lenny Greg Bell went to Notre Dame, now with the Rams, has gained 360 yards in the last 3 ball games. The question I have for you is, what are they going to do with Charles White when he returns?
That is a very good question. I don't happen to know the answer to that question, but our guest on NFL Crosstalk knows as much about that offense as anybody. He is a handsome young quarterback out of Purdue University. In his last 10 starts with the Rams, they have won 9 of them, including 4 in a row so far this year. And there he is, folks, Mr. Jim Everett. Jim, thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Len, Nick, glad to be with you guys.
Now, he is presenting...
At the start of this day, there were 3 undefeated teams in the NFL. Now it's down to only 1, and that does not include the Rams. The Phoenix Cardinals saw to that. The Rams did get off to a good start, taking the opening kickoff and going in for the score. Greg Bell doing the honors from 5 yards out. The Rams drew first blood, leading 7-0. The Rams were still in front with just seconds to play in the half when Neil Lomax finds Jay Novacek for 6. The Cardinals go in front. Now, instead of running out the clock, Jim Everett tries to get the Rams in field goal range. Instead, he ends up throwing the ball the wrong way. It pops loose, and Rod Sadler scoops up the free gift and rambles into the end zone. Phoenix scores 2 touchdowns in the final 29 seconds of the half. The Rams pulled to within a touchdown late in the third quarter. Everett goes to Damone Johnson in the left flat, and he barrels his way into the end zone. The Cardinals' lead is cut to 27-20, and the momentum is on the Rams' side, right? Think again. It was definitely a stacked deck for the Cards. Phoenix goes to their ace in the hole, Stump Mitchell, who breaks a few tackles and carries another Ram defender in for the score. Phoenix leads 41-20, and the Rams are about to chalk up their first loss, which doesn't make JR's day. Bell rings up the last score of the game and his 3rd touchdown to make the final score more respectable, but the Rams lose 41-27 and fall into a tie for the lead in the West with the San Francisco 49ers. Now, last week
they have a doorman at the 20-yard line saying, come on in. I mean, the Falcon defense never met an offense it didn't like. You don't believe us? Take a look. It was that sort of day today for Atlanta at home. Jam-packed Fulton County Stadium. And in the first play from scrimmage, those who were there watched Greg Bell. Even though Charles White was eligible to play, Bell said, forget it. Watch him carry and shed this tackler and carry Case for another 10 yards. Greg Bell with 33 yards on this rip, and then a little later, look at Greg Bell run 44 yards. Bulls through. There he goes. I mean, it looks like a fast Jim Taylor, doesn't he? Carrying guys on his back. Greg Bell continues to impress. 155 yards today and a touchdown. In the second quarter with the Rams leading 13-0. How is Jim Everett doing? Oh, just fine, thank you. Everett, they weren't inside the 20 and they scored on this play. 54-yard bomb to Henry Ellard. Touchdown, 20-0. Now, Henry will get the 5-yard penalty, but what the heck? Go for it. And good. 20-0 Rams. Everett on the day, 3 touchdown passes. And he was just sharp. He and Ellard hooked up and had a marvelous day. Everett looks pretty slick here when the sideline pattern to Ellard for 16 yards. And again, he teams up with Ellard. This time it's going to be 14 yards. And this is what Atlanta was looking at all day long as Ellard caught 7 balls for 134 yards. Oh, yes, the guys in the trenches. Yeah, we watched them too. Rams offensive line, we had a story on them a couple weeks ago on game day. Look at them manhandle the Falcons. There's no way that Jim Everett is going to be touched on this play. And as far as their defensive front is concerned, the Rams lead the NFL in sacks. And here's one of the reasons why. One of their second-round picks, Fred Strickland from Purdue, makes the sack of former Ram Steve Dills. They sacked him 6 times. They sacked all their former Ram Hugh Millen 3 more times. 36 sacks in 6 games, 9 today. The Rams all over the Falcons, 33-0.